The most fundamental fact of American politics, the first thing an immigrant learns about this country, is that the Democrats are the party of the poor and the Republicans are the party of the rich. And in this division, we really echo the politics, not just of the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in Britain, but more interestingly, the party division in the Roman democracy, where the rich people were the patricians and the poor people were the plebeians. And that fundamental party division has come down through history and been bequeathed to being the core of the American democracy. Donald Trump is changing that. I defined triangulation back in the Clinton days as stealing the other side's agenda and implementing it, thereby undercutting the issue base of their party. But in this case, it goes far deeper than the issue base. Trump's tax cut and the triangulation that it brings with it is a fundamental assault on the Democratic Party's relationship with the working middle class of this country. It's aimed squarely at the people who make basically more than $50,000 household income, below which you basically pay no income tax, and up to about $70,000 or $80,000 of household income. And that group, the solid middle class of the country, is the group that is most benefited by this tax cut, by the virtual doubling, it looks like, of the child tax credit from $1,000 probably to $2,000, and the doubling of the standard deduction from $12,000 to $25,000 per person. Means that the broad swath of that middle class will not have to pay any income taxes at all. While the tax cut will probably reduce the top rate in a bone to the core of the Republican business base, the bulk of it is aimed at small businesses, family entrepreneurs, mom and pop stores, and low middle-income workers. While this is taking place, the Democratic Party has moved from a party that fights poverty to a party that fights racism. And race has increasingly become a proxy for wealth and income in the definition of poverty. So that the Democratic Party has almost totally turned its back on middle income and poor white people. It's followed the mantra of affirmative action, which benefits women and blacks and Latinos, but says nothing about white men. In turning its back on the white lower middle class, on white poverty, the Democratic Party has created a huge vacancy in our political system and is increasingly filled with Trump voters. Remember, in the election of 2016, the most fundamental change of all that defined that election and the realignment that it kindled is that poor whites voted Republican and rich whites voted Democrat. The Democratic Party has moved from the party that represents the poor to the party of social change on issues such as abortion and gay rights, moving well away from their mandate. And Trump has moved in behind them to take over that vote and that ideology. And that is really the ultimate triangulation. Unlike Clinton's triangulation, which dealt with the superficial issues in our society of welfare reform and the balanced budget, this triangulation deals with the core message, the core essence of what it means to be a Republican. It's historic, it's very important, and it represents not just a tax cut, not just a budget, but a fundamental realignment of political and economic priorities. If you're looking for a really good Christmas present, our book, Rogue Spooks, would certainly fill the bill. In it, which we wrote back in the summer or the spring of this year, we document everything that we've learned since about the role of the intelligence community, the FBI, and the Clinton people in the effort to frame Donald Trump and prosecute him for something that never happened, coordination between Russia and the Trump campaign. We explain how it came about, how the dossier started, why the dossier is totally flawed, what the objective of the intelligence establishment, the deep state, was in fomenting this entire crisis, why Trump has had great difficulty getting rid of the people who are promoting this crisis and prosecuting those who've leaked in it. And it also explains how the CIA went from being the bastion of right-wing conservatism to being the ultimate leftist organization, and how the FBI went through a very similar journey, a complete remake under Obama. And then we explain how after Trump was elected, the FBI and the CIA liberals kept their jobs. Many transformed to civil service jobs in order that they could not be fired by Trump, and through leaking and lying could help oust him from office. So it's a good book. Get a hold of it. It's one of those few books that was written 6 months ago, which half of which has come true, and the other half is about to come true.